God, it's only 7:24. So that means I could drink a lot more beer. Oh my God. Hamster Hammerhand is, I know. Just wanted to wrap this up for the weekend because I was thinking about this. Well, the whole time, like the whole weekend. It's like, excuse me. Wait a minute. Isn't Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, she's a woman and everything. And the federal government is coming after her. Now, I wonder why that might be. Do you think, just for a minute, that the feds are getting a little bit desperate when they're coming after women of color from Hawaii? Congresswoman, Army, serve the country, still serving the country. And they're harassing this woman going to the airport to get a flight to somewhere. Well, excuse me. The fuck is that? I mean, Jesus, she's probably got a top secret security clearance. And we still have the Homeland Security people going after her. I think that's kind of fucked up. Don't you, Mr. Hemi 4-Speed? Hello, JR's here. All right. Let's watch the video here on Reason. I think it's Reason. Horns. Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to Free Media. I'm Robbie Suave.
And I'm Amber Duke. It sounds like something out of 1984, but unfortunately, it's real. Yeah. Former Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, who's now a cable news commentator for Fox, was persistently harassed by extra security guards while flying throughout the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's remember that Congresswoman Gabbard, Tulsi, I'll just call her Tulsi. Tulsi ran for president in 2020. And she was a Democrat lefty, the whole thing, the whole lot, right? And she decided to get off that fucking train of bullshit. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. She's a woman and shit. How could that happen? Well, it did happen. And what happens when you go against the fucking machine? What happens if you're a woman? Kind of a woman of color, sort of. Democrat, all that, lefty, abortion. What happens when you say, not sure about that. I think maybe that's not what I believe anymore. This is what happens.
The reason? She was recently targeted by Quiet Skies, an Orwellian TSA program that costs hundreds of millions of dollars and routinely violates the civil liberties of innocent Americans.
Excuse me, what? I'm sorry. She's a congresswoman, Army veteran, probably an Army master sergeant or something. Let's go after her. Now, why would they do that? Why would our government, the federal government, do that? Any idea?
Here's Gabbard describing what happened to her.
Laura, this is a clear act of political retaliation. There's no other way to put it. You laid out this sequence of events the very next day after my conversation with you on the air, warning the American people about how dangerous a Kamala Harris presidency would be.
Congresswoman Gabbard, you fell off the plantation. And we can't have that. Can we? Oh, no, he's going to vote for Donald Trump. Oh, my God. She's a traitor. So let's do some back scene shit. Let's go behind the scenes and fuck with her. That's what's going on here. You think this is not real? It's real. It's
I was
really
placed
real.
on this domestic terror watch list, which is called the Quiet Skies list under the Department of Homeland Security. The clear pain and real visceral hurt that comes from this is, as you mentioned, like many Americans, I enlisted because of the terrorist attacks on 9/11 to go after the Islamist terrorists who attacked us on that day, and to now have my own government now turn around and put me on a domestic terror watch list. It hits to the core and is the ultimate sense of betrayal, but we look at why they are doing this.
Oh, you've never heard this story? Nothing on the mainstream media. You haven't heard this about Tulsi Gabbard, that she was followed around by TSA and given a brand on her freaking ticket to get some extra inspection. Oh, you didn't hear this? I wonder why CNN didn't report this, or MSNBC. Any idea why that would be the case?
It has a chilling effect.
So this program is crazy. Just to clarify, Tulsi Gabbard is not the first or only person to be a victim of it. She's just the most high profile and has come forward. And a whistleblower came forward and spoke to
Master Sergeant in the Army, Congresswoman, and she's a terror suspect. Do we understand what's going on here? I think we do, don't we? Intuitively, right? It's innate. It's like in our bones. It's like, yeah, this kind of sounds like it's fucked up. I don't know what's going on here, but I think I know what's going on here. Oh my God, she was a Democrat, but she decided to not be a Democrat anymore. Oh my God.
To Matt Taibbi, independent journalist, who we actually interviewed on Rising this week. And viewers can go check that out if they want to hear more details from the horse's mouth. It is crazy. So this is almost like the no-fly list. It's separate from that. Some people traveling, doing air travel throughout the country.
It's not the no-fly list. They believe this woman is going to be a terrorist. Does anyone see this as fucked up? Yeah, I think so.
Subjected to extra scrutiny, and they'll basically have teams of security agents just kind of following you, and then they'll have an extra marshal on the plane with you. There will be drug sniffing dogs. They did this to Tulsi.
Yeah.
Extra, pat down, like really aggressive patting downs. The pat downs are already getting plenty aggressive at the Ronald Reagan Airport in D.C., I have to say. Going over everything, and on your boarding pass, this happens to some people. There'll be 4 S's. It stands for some kind of extra security measure, something. And it's not explained how you get on the list. It's not explained how you get off it. A past whistleblower came forward because he found out that his wife was on it. He had no idea why. It's crazy. We don't know what she did or what anyone did to get put on it.
Doesn't matter.
There's no evidence. Again, they've never apprehended a terrorist.
Excuse me. All you have to do is go against the machine. That's all you got to do.
Way. Like they're not even like if these people were legitimate safety threats, they wouldn't let them fly at all, right? This is just quiet sky. I mean, it sounds crazy. It's real.
It is fucking crazy.
And I have very little doubt that this is not about the fact that
so much more.
Tulsi Gabbard has run afoul of the political establishment, that the Democratic Party hates her for defecting.
Correct.
Hillary Clinton herself accused Tulsi Gabbard of being a Russian plant who was trying to infiltrate the U.S. government to destroy it from the inside on behalf of the Russians.
She's a Russian plant. Tulsi Gabbrodsky. Get the fuck. What is wrong with these people? Oh my God.
I mean, all of these misinformation, we go back to that term, misinformation narratives coming from the Democrats being used to silence their political opponents. And, earlier in the show, we were talking about the fact that the EU and European countries have been cracking down on speech there, and how grateful we are to have the protections of the First Amendment. But this is an important reminder that they will get you in other ways.
That's true.
If they can't straight up arrest you for sending a tweet, which I'm sure they do that too, because they'll claim you were inciting violence.
Excuse me. This is not just the Democrat Party. This is the government, which is populated by 50% Republicans. You think the Republicans are your friend? Are you fucking kidding me? Do you think, just do a little mind experiment here, guys. And maybe the stray girl that comes in, oh my God, why am I here? Well, because I'm the hamster. Do you think everything you do online, your tweets, your exes, your Truth Socials, your TikTok, you go and search on some corn somewhere, you look at some radical fucking thing. It's online, right? Maybe you want to go see some whatever, right? Do you think the government is not fucking tracking you? This isn't an ad for, whatever, the VPN or They know everything you do. I know. Let that sink in a minute. Everything you do, the government tracks. Everything. Your phone calls, your text messages. Every time you masturbate, every time you take a shit, the government knows it. Now, why would we let that happen? Why should the government know when you take a dump or jack off? Because it's for our safety. It's for our safety, George W. fucking Bush. Patriot Act. Remember that? Everything you do is tracked by the government. Oh, the hamster. This must be some kind of goddamn conspiracy theory. Is it? You sure about that?
Violence or whatever.
There is that one. I can't think of his name. There is that one guy being prosecuted for.
They got Douglas Mackey because
If you've got a digital footprint, the government knows where you are. Ever wonder why Google insists on having your location on GPS? Have you ever wondered about that? I mean, recently, hamster, like I got a phone here, like it's like a 10-year-old phone. And I was going to Google, watch YouTube, because that's what I do. It's like, well, you got to sign in because of this. And I'm thinking, what's it going to hurt, right? I'll sign in. Now I can't sign out. Why do you think Google does that? What do you mean you can't sign out? I got my phone right here. I'm signed in with a different name. It's Hamster Maxwell or something. They are tracking you. Why are they doing that? Because they can. That's why. All right, let's hear Tulsi in her own words here. Go ahead.
Faster, cheaper. You can only pick two. Those are the rules, right?
We truly live.
And I mean, the funniest thing is that if and when Donald Trump is elected, probably going to happen, I would love to see Tulsi Gabbard as the Secretary of the Homeland Security. Or what is it? TSA or HSA, whatever the fuck it is, right? Wouldn't that be fucking ironic and just tasty? The organization that has been following Tulsi around at the airport, she's in charge of as of January 21st. I would fucking love that. Anyway, God.
Live in the greatest country in the world because of the founding principles upon which our country was created.
Oh my God.
I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Right.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic, twice. Both as a soldier who enlisted in the wake of 9/11, like so many Americans, as well as...
I actually tried to enlist. It's true. And they said, hamster, you're too fat. It's like, well, oh, you got a point. You have a point.
As well as a member of Congress, where I served for 8 years. I take this oath seriously.
Yeah.
And it is our Constitution that is under attack today. I first joined the Democratic Party over 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was 21 years old. And when
you were young and stupid. Yeah. Typical. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Saw back then was a party that still stood for free speech. That was a big open tent party that welcomed people with different ideas, different backgrounds.
20 years ago was, let's see, what is this year? 2024, 2004? Okay, maybe.
Different religions that stood up for civil liberties, that fought for everyday Americans.
Well, that's what you believed at the time there, Tulsi. Really hasn't been that way for a very long time. Now, why do you think they're coming after you? Have you considered that?
Party of the little guy.
No. No.
Fast forward to where we are today, that party is completely unrecognizable.
Mm-hmm.
I left the Democratic Party because it is led I left that party because it is led by an elitist cabal
Crazy
of
people.
woke
Crazy people,
warmongers.
really. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
are
yeah.
driven by an insatiable greed for power, and they are willing to do whatever they deem is necessary, even the destruction of our freedom, to get what they want and to stay in power.
It's not just the Democrats, though. You know what I'm saying? Go on, Congresswoman.
This is the challenge and the threat behind those who are abusing their power in more brazen ways than I ever would have imagined today. I left the Democratic Party because it's led by fanatical ideologues who don't believe in freedom. They don't believe in freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, and the right of every one of us to express ourselves without fear of retribution or retaliation from those in power. They censor speech they don't like. Why and how? They say, we need to protect you from yourselves.
Yeah.
And so we have to protect you from things that we call misinformation, disinformation, or hate speech. Speech that they...
Yeah. That's whatever the government agrees is evil and hate speech. Does this sound anything like 1984? The book by Orwell? We need to keep you from that. Oh my God. I mean, some people use Orwellian. It's kind of like, oh, that's Orwellian. When it's not. This is. Go on.
They don't like. They undermine our civil liberties, working with powerful entities in the propaganda media and big tech. They're trying to get rid of our Second Amendment in every way possible, rejecting the very reason why our founders passed it right after the First Amendment. Rejecting the reality that every one of us has a right to defend ourselves and our loved ones, and that we are the check on the abuse of power by an increasingly tyrannical government. And that is what we are facing today.
Yep.
They reject our Constitution that fundamentally recognizes that our freedom comes from God, no one else.
Whoa.
I left the Democratic Party because its leaders reject this truth and are increasingly hostile towards people of faith and spirituality, actively seeking to undermine our religious freedom and the spiritual foundation of our country. They are targeting people of faith. You heard from the last speaker and others very real examples of this, how they are targeting especially Christians. They are targeting peaceful pro-life protesters. They are targeting those they deem as radical traditionalist Catholics. Thomas Jefferson said, God who gave us life gave us liberty. Can the liberties of a nation be secure when we have removed a conviction that these liberties are the gift of God?
Fair point. Fair point. I know some atheists are like, oh my God, this God thing, this Jesus, it's all ghosts, guys. Yeah, it's fine. Believe what you want. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you're wrong. You're an atheist. And oh, dude, you know. But the converse is not the same, right? Oh, you believe in a sky god. You're a member of a cult. And, oh my God, it's evil and shit. Really? Like we talked about earlier. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now, you might not believe in the Mormon thing, Joseph Smith. I get it. But they're churning out a lot of top shelf young people. Somehow. I don't know what that might be. Could it be a little God in your breakfast cereal? Little Jesus there. Yeah? You think?
Of course, the answer to that is no. To recognize each other as children of God is to appreciate that every one of us belongs to God and to no one else. So no government, no person, no individual or institution has the right to take away the freedom that God has given us. This is the foundation of the social construct of the United States of America, and it is the core of who we really are. Any political party that is trying to erase the presence of God from every facet of public life and is hostile towards those who choose to worship God cannot be trusted to protect our inalienable God-given rights enshrined in the Constitution and should not be in power.
Hey, Arizona. Hey, America. I'm here with one of the greatest fighters in our whole country, Congresswoman Marjorie. Thank you so much.
I could look at Tulsi
We
Gabbard.
often hear these words in the Declaration of Independence, probably not often enough, but life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
This is why I left the Democratic Party.
These words are too often taken.
Tulsi Gabbard's a former Hawaii
Oh, no. Oh, my God. She's getting into more
She
trouble.
sat on the House Homeland Security Committee.
I like that.
She has debated Harris as well. Good morning to you. And that debate is one of the reasons why we wanted to bring you on here. Before I get into the whole border policy thing, I just want to play this clip of you on stage with Kamala Harris from, I guess it's 4 or 5 years ago now, and ask you a very specific question about this exchange.
Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making the decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you were in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And the people who suffered under...
You're going to cackle in a minute.
your reign as prosecutor.
Kitty fight, kitty fight, kitty fight.
Oh, you owe them an apology.
So that was quite the moment, July of 2019. You gave an interview to the AP saying all you had to do was Google that information. And that you were surprised that her comeback was not more effective. What do you mean by that?
Well, she really didn't have a comeback. I think she revealed in that debate the same thing that I think her campaign handlers are worried about right now is, you know, Kamala Harris is an empty suit. They are trying to create this new version of Kamala Harris to match what their pollsters are telling them so she can say whatever she needs to say to try to win over voters, which is the most offensive thing, I think, because they think we're so stupid as to forget what her record actually is. And so, you know, in 2019, very simply, I confronted her with her hypocrisy.
Excuse me, Congresswoman Gabbard. She is counting on the single women in this country to be that stupid. Just saying.
How what she said was very different than what she actually did.
And then they probably will be. Oh my God. Wait a minute. Because I'm a woman and I'm oppressed. Because I don't get everything I want without having to work for it. Oh my God, it's oppressive.
And she had no answer for it. She had no explanation. She didn't even try to own or justify what her actions were. And that's going to be the key thing here for voters as we head into this election is, you know, Kamala Harris will say whatever she thinks she needs to say. We have to pay attention to her actions because on every single...
I mean, to be honest, though, you know, Congresswoman Gabbard, all politicians say what they have to say to get elected. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, come on. Come on now. Go ahead.
Major issue. You will see that same kind of hypocrisy.
I mean, they're you know, showing pictures of the vice president. Oh my God, she looks terrible. Of course, it's Fox News. Come on.
That I pointed out in 2019 where she'll say
We all know this is a fucking game. This is a game we play. Oh, yeah. Picture of Vice President Harris here looking all shitty, and they probably got a filter on Tulsi over here. Oh, my God, she's so pretty. It's a fucking game. And we all buy into it because we all play that fucking game every goddamn November, every 4 years. Oh, my God, Donald Trump is evil and Kamala Harris is good. Are you sure about that? Are you? I'm not so sure anymore. Been here 60 years, and I'm like, this kind of smells like bullshit to me. Go ahead.
One thing, but her record tells a very, very different story.
Well, she's got 3.5 weeks to straighten it out because that's when the debate is on September 10th. Here's another issue that you're talking about here, Axios. When she was running for president in 2019, she was for decriminalizing illegal border crossings. No more. She has backed off. And
No, trust me. No, she's for that now. She's going to say, oh, my God, we're going to put all these things in place. And, oh, my God, and these things, it's all fucking bullshit. Donald Trump is mostly full of bullshit, but at least the stuff that he is not bullshitting about kind of makes sense. But Camel Toe Harris, no.
That's just one of the issues now. Okay?
No.
And here is Harris in her own words on border policies.
I know. We all fall into the game.
I'm not in favor of decriminalizing or not having consequence for. We have to keep. Let me just be very clear. We have to have a secure border. But I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminal. We've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing.
What if these decriminalized people come over and rape people? Are we going to do anything about that? Or kill people? Or traffic drugs? Nothing? No? Oh, it's perfectly fine. That's they're just trying to get here because of reasons. Really? What if they are actually criminals and evil people? Nothing. Zero zip nada. Okay.
And we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
I want to know, when you become president, would you be committing to close immigration detention centers?
Absolutely, on day one. On day one.
You need to do a 180 on all of this now, Tulsi.
Yeah.
And the only way you can effectively do it is if you have the media in your back pocket.
Which she does. She has the mainstream propaganda media helping her, collaborating with her. Frankly, they should be reported for these in-kind contributions they are making to her campaign because they are doing her work for her. They're trying to claim that she was not the border czar after all, even though there are many, many clips of them saying, well, she was in fact the border czar. I think, so many of those clips she may try to say, oh, well, that was back then. That was back in 2019.
Oh, that was so many years ago. So it doesn't matter anymore. I found it eventually.
Problem that she has to reckon with is the fact that her actions, her positions, and lack of action and failures for that matter, as vice president, match very directly with what she was saying in 2019. She really does believe in open borders. They really do believe in allowing millions of illegal immigrants to come across our borders, flood our communities. They really do believe in making sure that they have over 10 million new future voters. So again, actions will speak louder than words. Kamala Harris is fake. She's a consummate politician. We've got to pay attention to her record as vice president.
We will.
Every 600,000 is a new congressional district. What do you mean, answer? A lot of talk about, oh my God, these illegals coming in to vote. None of that matters. None of it matters. Just just got to get people. That's funny. All right. We already did that one.
We often hear these words in the Declaration of Independence, probably not often enough, but life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right. I mean, wouldn't it be fun though if she got a position? Fucking A, it would be. I would love that. Give her something, Homeland Security, let her have it. And Vivek, all these people. Let's see if I can find another one. Hold on. Blah, blah, blah. News about Tulsi Gabbard. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Security risk. Creepy. Yeah, we saw that already. All right. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's do this one. All right. Hold on. Right. Mm-hmm.
What Okinawa was about.
Tulsi Gabbard is joining us now. So you heard the news. We walked through with Tristan Levitt on how this kind of came to their attention through whistleblowers. But Tulsi, I want to go directly to you. You know that you were on, you're kind of thinking back and you're like, okay, I know I did a Fox News interview on July 23rd. And the next time I took a flight was a couple days later.
Oh, is Ramadi getting all crazy up in here, Mr. Hemi Four-Speed? Oh my God. Ramadi, just have another beer. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. God damn. Oh, these people.
And I had that Quad S designation, which randomly sometimes is put on any of our tickets. If it's random once in a while, that's no big deal. That was supposed to be how it worked. But then you noticed it kept happening and happening and happening. And so you realize this is something bigger. And then we've had whistleblowers come out saying that you've been put on, the Quiet Skies list. And let me just read that out for people, what the purpose of that list is for, to mitigate.
Mm-hmm. So why exactly is the federal government going against a woman? Anyone?
Mitigate the threat to commercial aviation posed by unknown or partially known terrorists. So, I mean, Tulsi, just your reaction when you found out that you were on that list. You are someone who has served the country both in Congress as a presidential candidate and currently in our armed forces.
The closest word that I could think of that can begin to describe what I felt and what I feel in learning that actually, according to these whistleblowers, that I am on this Quiet Skies list, that my own government, my president, my commander-in-chief is targeting me as a potential domestic terrorist. The closest word that comes to mind is a complete sense of betrayal. And it's betrayal because I, like so many Americans, enlisted because of the Islamist terrorist attacks on 9/11, enlisted to serve in our country's military, to ensure the safety, security, and freedom of the American people, to go after and defeat and destroy those Islamist terrorists who continue to pose the greatest short and long-term threat to us, to our security, and to our freedom. And so now, after serving over 21 years and continuing to serve in our nation's military, my own government has labeled and is targeting me directly now as a domestic terrorist, as they are many others. I'm not alone in this. Of course, this list is not being made public, but we can look to what the Biden-Harris administration has done in multiple cases of how they have there have been leaked conversations, leaked files, leaked documents, and even statements they've made in public saying that this threat of domestic terrorism and extremism is so great, and often very likely it is those in the military or military veterans who are these potential threats here at home. It is more than a slap in the face. It's more than a punch in the gut. It is a complete betrayal coming from our own government, that they are using our taxpayer dollars, our resources, They're using people like the air marshals as weapons and pawns to target their political opponents. And that's really what this is all about. As a person, I feel, not only for myself, but for my brothers and sisters in uniform, for those who have literally put their lives on the line to go after and defeat those terrorists who attacked us on 9/11, those who continue to pose a threat to us today, and all of that, to have our own government come and point and set their sights on us and set their targets on us, saying that, no, actually, we are the domestic terrorists. Why? Of course, there's no explanation given, which is why we are taking legal recourse, why I'm so grateful for these whistleblowers and having the courage to stand up and present the evidence and proof, because, these secret lists, there are many of them. Quiet Skies is one of them. There are others that have occurred ever since 9/11 with the Patriot Act, weaponizing these institutions against Americans. All of these secret lists, there's no recourse. There's no way to know truly if you're on the list, how to get off the list, why you're on the list, why my own government is seeing me as a domestic terrorist. I can't tell you why, but I can make some assumptions based on the record of this administration, that this is yet another tool they are using against their political opponents. Yeah. Obviously, I've been very outspoken about the dangers of the Biden-Harris administration to our democracy and to our freedom and to our national security. And this is what happens as a result.
Using your First Amendment rights to speak about your government is certainly not a reason to be labeled as a potential terrorist threat to our country. And of course, I think what happened here, Tulsi, sometimes is actually, it's not a good thing for you. But I think for the country, because of your profile, this could be a good thing for all Americans, because
set on a picture-perfect acreage just outside of town.
La, la,
This
la, la,
beautiful, meticulously decorated barn home is perfect for cozy days at home,
Oh, of course
or
it is,
entertaining
yeah.
friends and family.
Do you have $7 million? Yeah.
The open living
No, I don't.
space features multiple
don't.
sitting areas,
But it's nice.
ensuring
I like it.
everyone has room
Look
to
at it.
spread out and relax.
Yeah. Boom, boom. No. Yeah. Right.
Upstairs
Never
is the master
read.
suite,
Let me guide.
complete with private living area.
How many fucking millions of dollars do you have? Saying Rusty Rivers. Oh my God. Right.
The master bath is an oasis welcoming relaxation and rejuvenation. Heading downstairs,
Yeah, it looks nice.
the
I can't
finished
afford
basement
it.
provides
so.
additional living space for
Ah.
the kids or grandkids.
Yeah.
2 bedrooms and a bathroom complete the bottom level of this.
Yeah, the thing is, in Missouri, you got to be careful, right? If you're looking for a house, you gotta. Does it have a basement? Guess that's what I want. I want the basement. I like it.
3-story home.
Cats in there. Okay. Well, there you go. You got a
This
couple
is
$1 million.
truly a property.
There you go.
you're already a colleague of ours at ACLJ. We do this kind of work. We're going to be representing you. We've already got the FOIA going there. We were going to take other legal action. Lawsuits are coming. But then you're also, by you taking a stand and your public stand, along with those whistleblowers that we've worked with before and defended their rights and protections, we're able to expose this program to the American people, and your willingness to come and speak out about it. But I also want you to tell people your husband ended up on this as well, and he is not someone who is outspoken like you or is out in the political world every.
Excuse me. Brandon was going to do a live stream from Chicago, so I better check my phone. It might be Polska Bob with his pierogies. We have to do the Polska.
Every day.
We all love it.
And again, this just points to the insanity of what this government is doing. My husband is a cinematographer.
He makes films and commercials and music videos. He supports me in what I do, and I'm so grateful for it. But he is not at all involved in any kind of political discourse or debate, either in person or online. And so for him to be receiving the very same.
Yes, yes. She has a nice bone structure. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's a good-looking girl. I mean, they're, sorry, Master Sergeant Gabbard. You're a hottie. You look good, and you're probably fun.
Same treatment that I have been receiving with this continual quad S is what they called it. You showed the image of the boarding pass, the SSSS mark. He was just on a flight a couple of days ago and still has that showing up on his boarding pass. And so for people who don't know what that means, it means that you cannot check in online. You have to get your board, whether you have check-in luggage or not, you've got to get your boarding pass from the ticketing agent. They will hand you the boarding pass. If you have TSA pre-check, that goes out the window. You go through the regular TSA line. Once you get there, you got to wait for a supervisor to come and show up. Can take a little while, as we've experienced. They have to shut down an entire lane, an entire screening lane through the TSA checkpoint just to screen you individually because it takes so long. They will check all of your electronics. They will empty every single article, your toothbrush, your underwear, your clothing, your books, your battery charger, every single article from your carry-on luggage, and screen and swipe every single piece of it. So it takes 30 to 45 minutes. And then once they give you the all clear, then you go and you board your flight. And sometimes you may get additional screening at the gate before you're allowed to walk onto the plane. So this is not only happening to me, it has happened to me, it's continuing to happen to my husband, and it happens to a lot of other people. I heard from a TSA employee through one of these experiences, and I'm not going to out them at all, but they could not make sense of the fact that how someone in the military could be getting this screening, and also how they had seen how Trump supporters who previously were not in that Quad S designation now were continuously marked with Quad S on their boarding pass. So through our legal action, I'm grateful to ACLJ and you and Jay and your whole team that's come together to fight for our First Amendment rights in this country so that we can shut down these constitutional actions and take it all the way to the Supreme Court if we have to.
Absolutely. And Tulsi, we're proud to be colleagues of yours and to fight with you at ACLJ. And again, First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, this involves so much, but it's exposing a program that has not yet led to any arrest or any kind of prevention of any terror attacks in the country since it started. Tulsi, I know there's going to be a lot more to talk to you about as this goes on. Appreciate you joining us today to talk about it. Support the work of the ACLJ, folks. This is a multi-pronged legal effort with whistleblowers representing Tulsi, her husband, with FOIAs, with lawsuits. Go to aclj.org. Donate today. Let's protect our rights.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter, the search engine for conservatives. Let me just tell you what it does. First of all,
are we seeing anything here yet? Tulsi, Tulsi, Tulsi. I mean, God, you're just one of those people. Oh, my God. Tulsi Gabbard threatened Joy Behar. I'm sure that's probably true. Yeah. Of course it is. Oh, my God. Excuse me. I was added to, all right, we'll do this. I think we already did that one. Oh, Turk watch list. All right.
I don't know. Never been out of country.
Oh, you haven't?
Never.
Oh, you can't, though.
I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
Sex offenders can't leave.
There's schools everywhere. In the sky, there's schools everywhere.
Yeah, Valerie, you didn't. What are you going to do?
So Joe just let us all know that Tulsi's a part of the Quiet Skies program. Tell us about it, Joe.
Whoa. Ooh. Dude, so like I was on Instagram and then I saw this post and it said Hawaii News Now says that Tulsi Gabbard is on the TSA watch list as a terrorist. Oh, I saw that.
Excuse me, Valerie. Valerie Hart, what should we be talking about? Just ignore this stuff. Everything's fine, right? Yeah, I think not. I think everything is not fine. When you got a woman here, Congresswoman, Army person, right? And the government is following her around. I think it's a bad thing.
And then all these lawmakers.
How could they do that to her?
Bad
Yo,
thing when
yo, man,
anyone
she's
is
Hawaii
followed
senator,
by the government.
and she's U.S. military. How you gonna put her on the terror watch list?
Just after she was
Oh my God!
talking
Make
on your favorite Democratic candidate.
Kamala?
My favorite the Indian lady.
Hey, but honestly though, whenever they bring up how Kamala on like any news network, how she's not maybe a good candidate for presidential candidate, they always bring up the Tulsi clip and how Tulsi
well, they hate her really, Jeremiah, because she doesn't agree with their bullshit anymore. At least that's what she tells us. I mean, she might. We don't know, right? All these politicians, sorry, they're all fucking slimy as hell, but we tend to agree with people who are good looking. I know it's crazy. We're just humans. We're just hairless monkeys. That's what we do.
roast her at the debate and how she didn't really have a clap back. She didn't really handle that well. So they're like, you know how those analysts are. They're like, oh, she can't be president. She doesn't have the chops to be able to deliver. And they use the Tulsi clip all the time. So it's crazy that now they're taking to the point where she can't fly on no airplanes. Is that what that means?
Well, it's that, and also just like the what, you know, obviously the opposition is labeling her as being a conspiracy theorist as well by saying, like, you know, it's all the deep state stuff, the puppeteering that, you know, other people are controlling our Democratic candidates to the warmongering, like, cabinet collective. So the second she goes into like all that stuff is when I guess this got really triggered, and it was Air Marshal National Council that said that whistleblowers told them that Gabbard is included in the Quiet Skies program, which basically monitors elevated risks to aviation security.
I don't know.
And it was Bart who was saying, like, every single time she jumps on a plane, there's like freaking hounds and like multiple air marshals that are on the plane every single time as well.
In our chat group, he said
he's gay.
He did say that.
He said, "Don't tell anyone." Though.
He said, "I heard every fright she gets on."
Come on, man.
There's at least 2 air marshals and a canine on it. That's what happens when you're part of the Quiet Skies list.
Yeah, well, Valerie, if you're not a troll, yeah, you're in the right place. I think most of us agree shit's fucked up. And this is shit. God damn it.
You know what, though? What if...
Wait, that's what Bart said?
Yeah, Bart said he's gay.
2 air marshals? 2 air marshals and a canine. But what if Tulsi was like, I need security, so I'm going to put myself on the terror list, so they're always watching me.
Yeah, what if it was the opposite, you know, version?
Are you in pursuit of the journey of a lifetime? If you're considering indulging in a unique travel adventure, then turn your thoughts to the Galapagos Islands. Picture yourself cruising through this enchanted archipelago, much like Darwin did almost 2 centuries ago, but with all the modern comforts and conveniences available today. Snorkel alongside sea turtles, sea lions, or penguins, and walk amongst animals you won't find anywhere else in the world. Our small group safari-style luxury cruises are expertly crafted to ensure you have an exhilarating and enriching experience.
I just like this
that will
one. I like
leave
the
a
turtle.
lasting impression. At Quasar Expeditions, we're a family-run business with 38 years of experience, and we take immense pride in maintaining the high standards of excellent service.
Not for me,
care.
though. It's for the other.
Even though she's like kind of complaining about it, or like other people are doing that for her, what if it was the opposite? What if it's like, we got to protect her because
this is not working for me anymore. So I think I'm going to go to bed. All right, you motherfuckers. I mean, guide. Take care. Going to bed. See you later. Love you. Thank you. Bye-bye.